Hey everybody, welcome back. Welcome back to Talkin Stitches Live. My name is Mike and I am joined here in the studio by none other than Joe, our resident keyboard master and commenter extraordinaire. Joe, how are you today?
I'm doing well. How about you today?
Man, I tell you what, we were down to the wire. I just looked down at the clock and realized it's 2 o'clock. I didn't even have time to put my Hawaiian shirt on today, so which is actually pretty good because it's kind of cold here in the studio. Guys, we've got a great show lined up for you. Of course, this is just our second episode of Talkin Stitches Live, but we're really excited about this new platform, and we've got a treat for you guys today. We've got a very special guest lined up today, and that's Stacy with So Steady Tables, and she's going to take you through the ins and outs of all their extension tables. And I'm going to tell you guys, there is a lot. There is so much information in today's show. And the reason that I know that is that we had a bit of a scheduling conflict. So we had to pre-record part of the show early, which was a bit of a departure for us. It was a learning experience. But we've got some great content for you guys, some bonus stuff, some stuff that we didn't even know that she was going to do. So there was a lot of surprises in there just for us as well. But guys, here's a spoiler alert. There is so much stuff that you can do with these extension tables. It's going to blow your mind. It's amazing. It's so much more than just a work area anymore. Just a couple of quick things to get out of the way here before we get started. As far as registration goes, guys, the only thing that you really need to do if you are looking to purchase something, you just got to register on soforless.com, which is really just like an email address and a password. So it's super fast. If you're just here to watch, if you're just here to check out what the deal is with extension tables, you don't have to do a thing. You can just sit there, sit back and enjoy it. Again, you don't have to even register to watch. But here's the cool thing, guys. Since we switch over to this new platform, all of our episodes stay right here on the So For Less website, so you can refer back to them at any time. There's no time limit to rewatch it either, so that's super cool. Couple of questions that we get periodically. One of them is, where do I watch a live show? Well, as I mentioned before, first of all, if you guys are watching now, you've obviously found us somewhere. But the easiest place to find us is right there on the soforless.com website. These shows do differ a little bit from our previous Friday live shows. Those were just strictly on Facebook. There was a web streaming app as well. But guys, the easiest way to find us now is right here on the soforless.com website. All the shows are going to be neatly organized right there underneath the Talkin Stitches category. Now, depending on the week, some of the shows are going to be streamed in other places. Some are only going to be on soforless.com. Actually, next week is one of those shows. So next week will only be streamed on soforless.com. So if you want to check out when we're making what are we doing next week? We're making a mini zipper cork bag. Yeah, so guys, for next week, you got to make sure you head back to the website. That's the only place you're going to be able to watch. Now, even though that's the only place you're going to be able to watch, you can always rewatch it here as well. There is still no time limit. But guys, all those featured products that we're going to be showing during the show are going to be organized underneath the live feed. So if you did want to shop, it makes it super easy. So what happens if you do navigate away from the show? Inevitably, life happens. You drop your tablet, your phone, your dog barks, the phone rings, and you end up navigating away from the live feed. Excuse me. The easiest way to get back is just to head on over to soforless.com. Right there on the very top of the page, there's a link, and it'll take you straight back to the live feed. We've tried to make it as easy as possible. That's one of the things. We've been doing live shows now for almost 2 years now, and the biggest question is, I can never find the show. How do I find it? Well, if you go to soforless.com, that link is always right there at the very top. So it makes it a little bit easier. I think it's easier.
It is.
But guys, one of the things that's special about live shows is that it gives you the opportunity to interact. Now, Stacy won't be joining us live today, but we will be joined by Sarah with So Steady. So Sarah's going to be fielding any of those questions that you guys have. So don't be shy. Just because Stacy's not joining us live, Sarah will be here, and she's joining us from So Steady as well. So we're very lucky to have such a great team that we work with over there at So Steady. And guys, I'm going to tell you, you're going to really like this extension table show. But guys, just don't be shy. Hit us up in the comments. One of the things that we do offer there on soforless.com is we offer the ability to create custom digitized embroidery designs. And for those of you who are unfamiliar, that's basically when you take a picture or artwork and you convert them over into embroidery designs. Now, I'm really excited about this because we just got done revamping the process. And the custom embroidery designs, you used to have to submit a quote and you'd have to wait for the digitizers to come back and tell you how much it was going to be. Well, we've changed all that and we've made it much, much faster because now the quotes are instantaneous. And I can tell you guys, if your artwork or photograph or whatever it is under 5 inches by 5 inches, it's going to be just $10. It does go up from there, but again, the quote is completely instantaneous. You don't have to wait for anything, which is really streamlined the process and it's cut down that waiting time. So guys, if you've ever wanted to find out exactly how much it would cost, head on over to the digitizing portion. I think it's called custom designs or custom embroidery designs or something, but it's right there on the website. Guys, I'm really excited about a new segment for today. We kind of teased you a little bit about it last week, but for our newest segment of the show, we want to show off you. So here are some projects that you guys are working on. If you guys want to submit an item to be featured on a future show, we actually have a link up there in the group. Guys, I'm going to invite you to head on over to talkinstitches.com, and that is a shortcut link that goes straight to our VIP Facebook group. So you can post your projects that you're working on or some that you've completed or something that you want to brag about. I like this part of the show because it really does give us a way to feature some of the stuff that you guys have created. And we have some very, very creative viewers. There's another thing I want to say real quick here, if I could get this in, is during the recording, Stacy mentioned that she wanted to give some stuff away. So there is also in that VIP group, that talkinstitches.com, there is a registration link to register if you want to be eligible for any of the giveaways. And there's a bunch of them. I haven't even gotten the entire list yet. This was kind of a last minute thing, so you have to forgive us for that. But if you do want to register for the giveaways, there's also a link for that at talkinstitches.com. But Joe, without further ado, could you roll that beautiful stitch footage for me?
Absolutely.
All right, guys, this first entry here was titled Peaches and Cream, and it was created by none other than Ann Moore, one of our featured educators on the So Show. Of course, we do the So Show on Tuesdays at 1 p.m. and with a partnership of So Steady as well. But that was a beautiful quote. This one was sent in to us by one of our longtime customers, Bonnie Ward. And this one is titled Remember When. So Bonnie she sent in quite a bit of stuff about it. She says she had so much fun making this quote for her guild challenge. But this year was actually themed Remember When, and her memory was of playing dress up in the early 50s. She said her kids often wore a green, is that a knoll? Is that how you say that? A knoll lid for an earring. But yeah, this was the quote that she made, and it was incredible. So we wanted to go ahead and show you guys that. This was a beautiful quote created by Shirley Hornbeck Rouse, and that was shared in the Talkin Stitches Facebook group. So thank you very much, Shirley. Here's another project that Shirley created. Looks like to be a cross, like a stained glass quilt. So that was beautiful. That is nice. I love the colors that she chose there. This was an original. Could you get rid of the? Oh, no, I can still read it. So this was an original design, hand embroidery on silk. Each basket and flowers are different. This was created by Irene Altal. So this was shared in the group as well. And here are some unicorn creations that were created by, is it Nancy Liesel, you think?
I believe so. Yeah.
Shared in the group. So that was a cute little thing that she created. This was also by Nancy. It looks to be a bib, like an in the hoop bib with an elephant on it. Kind of some lace work there. That was really cute. Here is a full quilt created by Jenna Kaiser. And that is an incredible, boy, that is stunning.
That is beautiful.
This was also by Jenna Kaiser. There's a name for that kind of quilt and it escapes me, but I can't think of it right now. But it's beautiful.
Yes.
And this was a gorgeous block that was created by Jody Running, and that was also shared in the group. So guys, thank you so much, everybody that did. Was that the last one?
Yes.
Yeah. So thanks everybody for sending that in. That was really something that's kind of a new thing that we're working on here. Let me see here. I think that's all I got here. So here's the portion here. We're going to go ahead and roll this footage. So this is the pre-recorded portion, and we're going to get this going here, guys. All right, guys. So this is the portion of the broadcast that we pre-recorded for you guys. So as you see to my, well, what I'm looking at is the left here. I'm joined by none other than Stacy Lewey with So Steady Tables. Stacy, thank you for joining us today. For those who are rarely unfamiliar, why don't you tell us a little bit about So Steady and what you guys have been up to?
Okay. Yeah. So study tables basically has been around for 30 plus years. And up until about 10 years ago, when we purchased So Steady, we made about 7 items. We made So Steady tables and cabinet inserts. And those tables and cabinet inserts were really exciting throughout the industry because they provided a flat smooth sewing surface for folks to be able to have their fabric held up at the needle area and be able to sew. So about 10 years ago, our family purchased that company. And since then, we've been looking for more ways to be able to elevate your creativity and create products that were customized and tailored to your sewing machine. We had the opportunity to purchase Westerly Design, which you see our little logo in the back, and bring it to America. We brought it to America about 7 years ago with the amazing ability to do ruler work on domestic machines. They had an opportunity for us. We met them in Australia about 9 years ago when we were selling our tables there. They had an opportunity for us to help them bring that into America with their new ruler foot that they had just developed and a whole bunch of long arm templates that they've resized to work for domestic machines with that ruler foot. So, and that's kind of a quick history lesson of So Steady. So about 7 years ago, we brought that to America with our tables, of course, still too, because those are who we are. And we've been doing classes and events and really developing an amazing educator network and taking a whole bunch of those items and just being able to create a whole bunch more opportunities for quilters and sewers with products that are all kind of tailored to that same message of being able to work customized to work with your sewing machine and to be able to do all kinds of great projects now. So today with the Westerly Design template line and a lot of the accessories that we've brought to market in the last 10 years, So Steady is currently sells over a couple thousand different items. So we went from 7 items when we brought it to over a couple thousand different items that we manufacture right here in Eugene, Oregon. So it is a family-owned company. And so it's my parents, my brother, and we basically have the opportunity to be able to work together every day. And we have an amazing staff of about 35 employees that manufacture all of these great products and package them right here in Oregon. So we're on the West Coast, and I know Sew for Less is more on the East Coast. So Mike and I were just talking, right? We were just
We're
talking.
in the middle.
Oh, you're in the middle? Okay.
Yeah, we're right here in St. Louis. But I tell you what, you couldn't have said it better. You guys have really grown dramatically. And we've been doing business with you guys for a long time. And in fact, that was one of the first things that we brought in from you guys was your tables. And you do have a reputation throughout the industry. You've got a super quality product, guys. If you haven't checked out any of the tables, you're really missing out. They've got some amazing items. And as Stacy was saying, she's grown leaps and bounds, and a large portion of it I like to attribute to her. She's got a great creative mind. We worked together for a very long time, so we're very happy to have her on board with us here today. But speaking of those tables, when you told me that you would come on the show here with us, I couldn't have been more excited. One of the things, and this is just me personally, I know that as you've grown the table line, a lot of times it can be a little daunting. You don't know exactly what you're getting with, a lot of the different tables have different options, and you can add even more accessories. So I'm really excited to kind of break it all down, and I think it's going to help our consumers a lot by seeing it all in person. So I do appreciate that. And let me just take a look here, see where we're at. So I'm ready to get started. What about you?
Okay. So with this portion of our episode, I am going to take you through the process of setting up a So Steady table and really giving you the opportunity to see how, kind of some tips and tricks on how to set it up. And then we're going to show you a couple other options. We're going to show you some of the amazing accessories that we've developed that go with the So Steady table. And then finally, I'm going to take you over to our website, and I'm going to show you some of the other tables because there are quite a few table options, and we're going to talk about why would you pick one of those other tables and not just the basic table that we have available that is a bestseller. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start again with, I'll start with our basic large table. It is our best-selling table. It's been around the longest. It's 18 by 24 in size. And I'll take you through the process of creating that table and setting it up. So Mike, I think it's time to switch over to the other camera. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
That's the super secret camera.
There it is.
Hang on just a second. We'll get it right. Nope.
I'll do it for you. Hey, there it is.
Too many cooks. Too many cooks in the kitchen.
Okay, yeah. I get accused of being, you know, kind of the cook that keeps cooking. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about our basic large table. So what we have here is a basic large table. It's 18 by 24 in size. You can
so did you say that this is the best seller? This is the best seller?
This is our best-selling table. It's always been kind of, I think for a lot of reasons, you know, 18 by 24 is a really good size to fit in a lot of different workspaces. So it works great on cabinet tops like we're dealing with right here. It works great if you're taking it to retreats. It works great for, you know, portability. So this has definitely been our best-selling size of table. We sell more of this table than we do any other Sew Steady table item or insert. So it's our most popular for sure. So what makes these?
One of the nice things that, at least just me personally, when, you know, I have customers asking about the tables, the nice thing about that, if budget is, you know, obviously of importance, and it always is,
Yeah.
you can start with that. That table does everything that you need. Now you can add stuff to it as we mentioned, but that does everything you need about extending that work surface and making sewing that much easier.
Yeah. And so talking about like the table itself, when you pull it out of the box and pull it out of the bag, it's going to look like this. It's going to have all of these buttons on it because these buttons come attached to the table. And here's a tip, guys. It'll say this in the instructions too. Never take a screwdriver to our table. All you need to do is take the leg bag out and pop on the legs that come with the table. So I'm going to show you some tips and tricks on how to pop those on with efficiency and ease. And then we'll talk a little bit about how we're setting up this table. So in order to get ready to set up this table, I'm actually going to go ahead and throw down my lovely quilt here. And I just want to make sure that when I'm putting the table down onto a surface, that I'm putting it onto a work surface, it's not going to scratch it and ding it up. Because it is clear acrylic, it can get scratched. And, you know, obviously when you start sewing on it, you're going to get some scratches. So, you know, just be aware of that. Now, this is kind of a busy fabric, so it's going to be a little bit hard to see it. So I'm going to flip it over and get the less busy side because I want you to be able to see the clear acrylic. And I will tell you, one of the challenges with having clear acrylic products is being able to have people see them.
Right.
Like the visual on clear acrylic is not easy. So what I've done is I've just laid this down flat, and I'm going to see if I can actually angle you down a little bit so you can see that. Because I want to watch, have you watch how I'm going to prepare for this. So I'm going to move this out of the way. Because I've got my sewing machine here, but guess what? The sewing machine still has the accessory arm on it.
All right, so we're going to pause here for just a second. We got a couple of questions already. Let me get Sarah in here. Sarah, you may need to unmute yourself if you could. All right, perfect. Sarah, are you with us? I do not hear you. So we are going to try to work this out, guys. I'm going to go ahead and press play here again and get this going. We're going to try and work out why I can't hear Sarah.
So all of our tables are actually meant to fit around the free arm of the machine. So you always take the accessory tray off when you're going to go ahead and put one of our extension tables on. There's actually not a single table that we've ever developed where we've kept the accessory tray on. Again, what we're going for, our goal is to give you a perfectly flat sewing surface at the needle area because we want to help eliminate your drag. We want to be able to make it so the fabric that you're working on is going to be perfectly flat and smooth at that area. So by removing the accessory tray, we're taking off some of those nice contours, but we're giving you.
Okay, now we got it. Sarah, you with us?
Yes. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. That's great.
Oh,
Okay.
good.
So we had a couple of different questions here, and I'm pretty sure I know the answer here, but you being the resident expert, I'm going to go ahead and pose these to you.
Sure.
So Sandra has a Janome M7, a Janome 550E, and a Janome 4300 QDC. Are there So Steady extension tables available for these models?
Definitely they are. All of them we have made. Let's take a look. I could even type it in, but we got one for that 550E. Pretty much any machine you have, even if we haven't made one for you yet. Let's say you find this amazing vintage machine, we can still make it. We do it custom. So if we don't have it yet in our system, we'll work with you to design it, because that's what we do. We design, we can make things custom if you need, but all of those are standard, very popular machines. Any table size you want, you pick the size, we make it to match.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I actually speak a little bit here with Stacy, is that we've never had an example of when we've ordered a table for a machine and you guys couldn't make it. So I was pretty sure I knew the answer there, but it is great to hear affirmation of that. Now, Eileen wanted to know, what's the difference between the gliders? Eileen, I'm going to tell you here in just a second. We're going to be addressing that. So just hang on for just a little bit. Stacy's going to actually go through all of those. Tambra wants to know, which can I use on my Janome 11,000 SE, which I think we know the answer now, but go ahead.
Right. The only exclusion, like some machines, if they're very large, for instance, this particular Janome Memory Craft model is a fairly large machine. So our little junior table, our smallest 11.5 by 15 table, would be the only table too small to accommodate, because that's only 11.5 by 15. If Tambra, if you're looking at your sewing machine, if you measure that space, it'll probably only leave you a tiny little extra support from our acrylic. So unless the machine's just too big for our smallest option, that would be the only restriction. Otherwise, like our large 18 by 24 or any of the sizes that are bigger than that can totally work with your Janome.
Perfect. So that brings us into Becky here. She's got a Husqvarna Viking embroidery machine and not sure what to do with the sewing lock. I have the wish table. I'm going to say on something like that, that may be something just to email in. What do you think that'd be?
Well, I could, you definitely can. When in doubt, you can always email us at info@sosteady.com. But I think what Becky's referring to is our table lock. So it's a little suction cup, and then there's a little L piece of acrylic, and then the other side has a little Velcro. So
Well,
this is
you know what?
optional
Actually,
accessory.
Stacy uses that later on, so that's great. So,
Perfect. Yep.
So yeah, Stacy will actually show you exactly how to use that table lock. So we've got another one here. I'm not sure exactly who this is, from Facebook. I'm looking to see if a quilting table for a long arm is available yet for the Janome 8900 or 6700.
So with that, it depends if you're using it in a sit-down application or on a quilting frame. So let's see, a quilting table for the long arm. So you could definitely reach out to Janome if they made a long arm frame yet for it. But if you have, let's say, like a QT frame or a variety that are made for domestic machines, we do have our ruler base. And I don't know, Mike, if Stacy talks much about ruler bases, but they do add a little extra support when your sewing machine is on a quilting frame and you're driving the machine around rather than moving your hands around for quilting. But we definitely have our long arm ruler bases on our website.
Well, and you know what? We do go into that here in a little bit. That's closer to the end, though. But yeah, we absolutely do. So, okay, let's get going back up here, Joe, and we're going to get back into it. Oh, I think I paused it. There you go.
That flat sewing surface that you design, that we have made as our design standard for the tables. And we'll talk a little bit more about that as we keep going. So this is our leg. These are the 4 legs that it comes with. These legs will come in with the leveler. This little piece right here is called the leveler. It'll come in with the leveler screwed in, sometimes all the way. And then you're going to go ahead and adjust that to the correct height for your table and your machine. So I'm going to show you a quick tip on how to adjust those really quickly before you actually put the legs on the table, because if anybody's installed a SoSteady table, sometimes getting it leveled out just right can be tricky, but this is going to save you tons of time if you do it this way. So I'm going to go ahead and put the table leg up against the free arm of the machine, and I'm going to eyeball about 1/4 inch. And, you know, if I had one of my handy dandy spacing gauges, which I just do here, guys, I could also use a spacing gauge there and say, is that 1/4 inch? It sure is. So now I know I've got about 1/4 inch to the height of the top of the free arm. So now I'm going to do that, and I'm going to match all the other legs to the same height, with the goal that I don't have to adjust the legs once they're on there. Now, this is assuming that I am putting my machine and my table on a flat sewing surface. I'm going to be honest with you. Sometimes when you're setting up at a show or a classroom and you're putting your machine and your table on a card table, you might have to do some adjusting that's a little different. You might have one leg a little higher than the other, if you know what I mean, because sometimes those card tables have some dips in them and stuff like that. So, but that's the beauty of having these adjustable levels, is that you can go ahead and adjust each leg to fit your needs. So again, the table comes with these buttons on them. So you never take a screwdriver to the table itself. You never have to, because you just pop those legs right onto the buttons themselves. So right now I'm popping on 4 legs. I'm popping them onto each of the buttons. And then this table actually comes with a suction cup leg as well. And I've managed to lose my suction cup. It might be somewhere in here, guys. But the suction cup leg is an extra support leg that comes with our tables and gives the customers the opportunity to go ahead and kind of put your extra suction cup leg wherever you want it. So here's what the suction cup leg looks like. So all of the other legs are hollow. They're hollow on the inside. You can kind of see the screw for the leveler coming in through the bottom. The suction cup leg has a little hole, like a little indent in it. It's not hollow. It's got that little thing right there you can see in the light. So that's where you would put your suction cup, little nub that comes with it, and allows you to go ahead and pop it onto the table wherever you want a little extra support. So that's, oh, I found my suction cup, guys. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to just pop this on to that nub, and then we're going to stick it onto the table. And I usually like to get the extra support at the front of the needle area. So notice I'm kind of putting it in the front of the cutout. Again, this table is upside down right now. So now that I've done all that, I'm going to go ahead and flip this table over. And
Stacy, can I ask you real quick?
Yeah.
Would you level the suction cup one the same as you would the other ones?
Oh, yes. Good point, Mike. You caught me. So I will tell you, though, the suction cup does stick a little bit higher than some of the other legs. So sometimes your suction cup leg might actually end up being a little bit shorter, because the height of that section is a little bit taller. It creates a little bit of a different leg height. So you just want your suction cup leg slightly shorter when you level it than the other legs. Okay, so now I'm ready to slide it on. Are you guys ready for this magic?
I am.
So our tables, our design with our tables is that our goal is to have the free arm fit within a 1/16 of an inch around the machine. And I'm going to tell you that Melissa, one of our owners, and my sister-in-law, is our designer that learned all the tips and tricks from the original designer of these tables, Annie. And Melissa now is the one that goes through with new machines and makes sure to fit them within a 1/16 of an inch around every cutout.
Stacy,
So,
just for fun, if you had to guesstimate, how many different machines have you guys done that for?
well, I know we have over 3,000 different parts for machines in our system, and over the last 10 years, we've probably designed over 200 maybe 250. But we've got machines that go all the way back to, they go all the way back to, you know, the featherweights. So we've got designs on machines that are super duper old. And then of course we work with all of the machine manufacturers to create designs for machines and tables and inserts for every new machine that comes out. So
Well,
yeah.
I know that I've never, and I've been doing this for 22 years, I've never run into a situation where you've said, hey, we don't have that machine. So I knew it had to be sky high.
Yeah, yeah. And that is, I'm gonna, you know, be honest, that's why we have done so well in the industry too, is because we have this amazing database where we basically can say, yes, we can do any make and model of machine out there. And if we haven't done it yet, then oftentimes we're able to go ahead and work with you to create a custom table that works for you or insert.
That's impressive.
So now you see it. We've got the table. It's perfectly snug. Kind of want to bring you a little bit closer, guys, because I want you to see just how close and snug we are to the machine itself. And keep in mind, every machine has a little different cutout. You know, not most machines are pretty unique in the way that they're designed. This machine, this is an Eversone, actually has a slight slope here. So this is another thing that I'd love to share with everyone is sometimes when there's a slope in a machine, we do something called a hover. And right here is a perfect example of a hover. I think you can see that really well on the screen, but I'm going to take you to a corner view where you can see that we actually have a nice bevel and a sloping right there to be able to accommodate that hover. So do you kind of see that bevel and sloping? So why we're doing that is because the table is actually going over the top of the machine right now, right there. So a lot of times when people get this table, they're like, oh no, it doesn't fit right. It goes, it's actually sitting on top of my machine. Well, you should know that if it's perfectly level, which this one is perfectly level with the top of the free arm, it's not sitting on top of your machine because we've designed it so it's hovering over the top of your machine, but we built in a nice bevel so fabric will move over that freely and it won't get caught on a sharp edge. And that's kind of, again, one of our design standards. So if you have a machine that has a slope in the front, then you're going to go ahead and have a bevel built into that table there. If we have to go up and over the table to give you that maximum sewing area and keep fabric from not flowing freely through the needle. So our #1 design standard, keep fabric flowing through the needle without having anything keeping it from, you know, doing so, which is, you know, eliminating the drag or eliminating things getting caught on the fabric getting caught on certain items. So that's why we incorporated that bevel there. So again, this table, you can see we've got it perfectly cut out all the way around the free arm here. So within a 1/16 of an inch, and it's called the Sew Steady table for a reason. I am putting my hand on this and I'm shaking and the whole cabinet's shaking, but that table isn't moving. So that is our basic large table, some of the features of our basic large table. I'm going to go ahead and take you back out so you can kind of see this from this perspective. Trying to move slowly so to not interrupt your visual.
So that ruler on the front of that table, does that come on there?
It does. Yeah,
that's a really nice feature.
Of the basic large, it comes with a 16-inch metric ruler, so it's got inches and centimeters. It comes with a beveled front edge. So when you're doing any kind of project, it's still going to run up smoothly onto the table itself because it's got a nice bevel. And then it comes with the portability with the removable legs. So the pop-on, pop-off legs that allow you to go ahead and you know, really put it up for a quick project, take it down, and store it when you're done. We do have multiple sizes of bags to be able to store.
I was just going to ask you because I bet it travels well because of that.
It does. This table, our bag for this table is 20 by 26. So it's a nice size bag to be able to store and carry. And it makes it really easy for customers that want to go ahead and be able to, kind of keep it in the closet when they're not using it and know that it will be safe. I can't tell you how many times we've gotten calls from folks that are like, oh, I just had it in the closet. I don't know what happened. Well, if you stack things on it in the closet, if, someone's getting in there and they're just throwing things in the closet, this again is glass basically. And so if you don't have it protected, then it can break and it can get chips in it and that sort of, well, I wouldn't say chips, but it can break and it can get scratched and that sort of thing. So having a travel bag or storage bag, I highly recommend if you're not planning on just keeping it set up in your sewing room at all times.
So I do have a quick question for you because I've always been impressed with the thickness of the table. I've seen several different other brands over the years, and one of the things that I've always felt was a more of a premium feel was the thickness that you use. What thickness is that?
That is actually 1/4 inch thick acrylic. So it is
very nice.
Yeah, so it's basically 6 millimeter 1/4 inch thick acrylic. And I will say, like, if someone were to take some fancy tool that measures the depth of something, you're going to get variance in all acrylics. So it's not necessarily going to be a perfect 1/4 inch. But that's the name in the industry, as you call it, 1/4 inch or 6 millimeters.
Sure. Well, I'm just telling you, I've seen a lot thinner. So
yeah, and there's plastic ones out there. There's a lot of different options for tables out there now. When this was developed 25, 30 years ago, there weren't a lot of extension tables being made with sewing machines. And so the sewing machine industry, this was very kind of cutting edge in the sewing machine industry to have extension tables that could be, that could be added on after the fact. In fact, they called it an added table for a long time. And so since then, a lot of the machine manufacturers have created kind of their own versions of tables that will come in, and those might be white. They might have white legs. The way to know if it's a Sew Steady, obviously it'll have our logo on it. It'll have these black legs. These are very unique. This is our own leg system. No other leg system is like this in the industry. So you know that that's going to be a Sew Steady. We don't sell a table without that system. So that's another way to know if it's a Sew Steady or not. We have people call us all the time that have tables from, other folks. And they want us to help replace the legs. And so we have to kind of go through a process of identifying, like, is this a Sew Steady? Because we do manufacture tables, and brand them for other manufacturers like, Bernina and that sort of thing. And so to ensure that we know if it's ours or not, we kind of identify it with the leg color. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some of the accessories that we've developed along the way for our Sew Steady tables. And then I will take a moment, if you're okay, and I'll show you another awesome table option that we've developed as well. And we'll kind of go from there. How does that sound?
that sounds great. Actually, I'm probably more excited to go through these accessories because seeing them used in real life is going to be way different than just a picture on a web browser,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to start with I'll start with our ruler work glider just because this is one of the glider options that we've developed in the last few years that have really hit the, kind of excitement for folks. So the ruler work glider is ideal for people that are wanting to do ruler work and free motion. A lot of folks are like, what's the difference between that and the grid glider or the free motion glider? Well, I'll tell you, the ruler work glider is made of polyester. It's 12 by 20 in size. And so it's a little bit bigger than the free motion glider. And it does have a circular hole cut out just like the free motion glider.
So did you say it's made out of polyester, like my leisure suit polyester?
Yeah, well, it's a polyester plastic type of material. Think window cling.
Okay.
Yeah, so it actually clings to our acrylic surfaces really well. It's not an adhesive. It clings down to it because it's a smooth, flat sewing surface. And so with the glider, what's the purpose of the glider? Well, the glider is meant to have your fabric glide super easily across the tabletop area when you're doing projects. So yes, our tables are designed to be very, very smooth, but they aren't necessarily slick. And so our table polish and our glider give you the slick that you're looking for in these tables. And so this is going to be our two first accessories that I'm going to show you. I'm kind of opening up my drawer looking for my polished cloth. I'm just going to have to break out the new one, guys. We're going to break into our new, a brand new table polish here. So I've got this lovely little polish cloth that comes with it. And then we have our polish. So it comes in this cute little vial. And you don't need a ton to go a long ways. I always like to do the whole Karate Kid thing, wax on, wax off, you know? So I go ahead and you can dab the wax right onto the table. I oftentimes will just kind of put a little bit on the polished cloth. And what I'm doing here is I'm not just polishing the table itself, but I'm also polishing the glider. Why? Because the glider works really well polished as well. And we pre-polish the gliders before they go out the door. So if you ever have a glider that's like, oh, I got it like a few months ago and it was really slick at first, but I've been doing a big project and it's not quite as slick anymore, all you need to do is pull out your polish and polish it up and it will be back to that same slickness. So one of the things that I like to do.
If I could just real quick, can you clean it as well? I know you're polishing it, but can you ever is there ever a need to clean it?
Clean the glider itself?
The glider.
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of times people will say, oh, it doesn't stick as well as it did when I first got it. So we do recommend that you can actually take it over to a sink and I put my spray nozzle on and I'll just spray off the back of it and it will get all of that lint buildup and everything right off the back of the glider and then it will stick like new again. Another educator tip is that you can actually use one of those lint rollers to go ahead and remove the lint off of it. And again, same thing, it'll work like new. So a lot of different options for cleaning it, but yes, you absolutely can clean off the back and then it'll re-stick like new again. So I just polished the table and the glider together. And one of the things that I like to have people to actually do when I'm at a show is I have them feel an unpolished area on the table like this. I'll say, here, put your hand down and just kind of rub your fabric in this corner here. And then I'll polish that, or I'll take them over to a polished section of the table and I'll say, now rub it on there. And it's like that whole test of saying, oh, wow, I can see it and feel it. And yes, that does work really well. So that is one of the tips and tricks that I like to show people is why you want to use polish or a glider on your table especially when you're doing projects, bigger projects, because you don't want to fight that fabric moving across your table. You want it to move super smoothly. Again, our goal is to have your fabric move smoothly through the needle with having nothing keeping it from doing that. And that's one of the things to do that is to really have that polish and that glider right on your table. So I was just actually putting this project up, and many of you know, because we did that big launch recently with our new suspension system, that we also have a great way for keeping your projects up and off of the table and keeping that drag away by having a nice big table surface. So that's why we offer a lot of different table sizes, is because sometimes people are going to have bigger projects and they want more room to have their project held up on their table while they're sewing. So that is a big piece of it. But we did recently develop a new product that we're going to be bringing out kind of as a relaunch here in the coming month, and that's called our suspension system. So again, we're kind of teasing it because you can't buy it quite yet, but we are relaunching it. And those of you who purchased the suspension system back in February when we initially launched it, you are getting your launch boxes any day now, and you're going to start being able to use this. But what this is giving you a way to be able to go ahead and hold up those bigger projects, even on using your Sew Steady table. So if you went ahead and you can kind of see I'm attaching this to the back of my Sew Steady table. And you can see it there. It's all attached to the back. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just use my roller here, my fabric roller, to roll up my project in the back. And then I'm attaching that to that. And now I have a way of really keeping everything on top of my Sew Steady table super easily and be able to do some of that ruler work. So that's another item.
If I could just interject here real quick here. So I'm watching that and I absolutely love it. Of course, I did watch the launch here, but one of the really cool things about this, and you didn't quite hit on it yet, is if I've got a king size, I can add any number of those to help.
Yeah, exactly. So this is actually just one suspension system. So think if you had the ability to add 2, 3, 4 of these, and be able to really hold up a very big project. Now I'm looking at like probably a standard wall hanging size project here, but if you had a bigger project, all you need to do is add more arms to hold that up and you've got something, and then bring it off the table. Like I attached this one to my Sew Steady because I knew it was a smaller project, but if I'm doing a bigger project, then I'm going to actually attach that to my countertop or to the desk because I want my project to be held up further away from me. So this one, actually the lip doesn't exist on the back, so I'd have to move it out here to be able to attach it to something that has a lip, but absolutely will work great for bigger projects. So that's
if all of your quilter friends are busy, that's a lot better to work with.
Yeah, so if you don't have all your girlfriends to hold up your quilt while you're sewing for hours on end, then you need a Sew Steady suspension system, right?
I agree. A lot easier to get them all in one place too.
Exactly. So that's a new item that you'll look for the relaunch coming in the end of April. Everyone is that were pre-ordered is getting theirs in the mail here in the next week. Yay! And that is just one more of our newest, most amazing Sew Steady accessories that works with our Sew Steady tables. One of our goals with our accessories at Sew Steady is that they're married to our tables or our inserts. We want to create products that are going to give you a better experience with our product. So our ruler work glider is one of those. Now, and I'm going to tell you, this is our #1 best-selling item over the last few years. So are you guys ready to see what that is?
Well, I am. I can't speak for anybody else.
And maybe we have some guesses. Maybe we have some guesses on what our #1 best-selling item is over the last few years.
What do you guys think? Put it in the comments.
Put it in the comments. I'm going to give everybody a chance to take a look at it because I'm going to actually show you our first ever accessory that we ever developed for our tables. I don't know if anybody wants to guess what that might be, but what was our first ever accessory that we created for our Sew Steady tables? What do you think that would be?
Well, I have a guess, but I'm not going to give it away.
You're not going to give it away? Okay. Well, if you've been around for a while and you've been a Sew Steady, kind of a Sew Steady groupie, then you'll know that our first ever accessory was our spinner tray. So this is a spinner tray that we developed that works for being able to, again, hold up and store all of your little notions underneath your table. I didn't even mention why people love our Sew Steady tables. Why? Because they can store all of their tools, all of their quilt squares, everything that they want to see underneath their table. It's more storage space. So
you can still see your stuff.
And you can still see it. That's right. So our spinner tray was developed to be able to store your items under your table, but have them organized. In fact, if you notice here, we actually have a little magnet so you can throw your pins inside this and have them all collect in the corner. So this is a great extra storage option for you if you're looking for extra storage solution for some of your items, and maybe even have a wish table with the drawer, but you love the idea of extra storage. The spinner tray is a great thing for that. So I'm trying to show it to you in a spot where you can see it, but I've just attached it to the table, and I did that by going ahead and removing the leg in the front corner. A lot of people love the front corner, again, because of just the ease of the location. So I'm going to see if I can bring this down a little bit and show you how I would install that. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put the leg through the hole right here. So I'm going to put that leg right through the hole, and then I'm going to go ahead and reattach the leg to the table. So you can kind of see that as I bend it down. I'm just going to put that leg back underneath the table, and then I'm just reattaching it. So I'm lifting that table up, putting that leg back in the spot, and then it's this simple, guys. All you have to do once you do that is you just spin it into place. So watch me spin that spinner tray back underneath the table, and now it's stored, and I've got my polish and my polish cloth right in there ready for use. So that's our first ever accessory. Now let's talk about, because we've given everybody a chance to tell us what they think, what is our best-selling accessory that we created in the last couple of years?
Let me ask you real quick here while they're guessing. Can you add that on to any table, or are there some of them that it won't work with?
You can add it to any table.
Perfect.
Absolutely any table you can get a spinner tray with. Even the tables that have all the fancy drawers. Why? Because it works with our leg system. There's absolutely no table that you couldn't fit a spinner tray with.
Would that
And then
even on the serger tables?
Even on the serger, yeah.
That's
because
really cool.
what you're doing is you're able to go ahead and put it on any leg too. Like it's really versatile on where you can assemble it. So if there wasn't room on the serger tables to put it on the front leg, you can put it on the back legs.
Right. I like it.
Yeah. So that's our spinner tray. That's our first ever. Okay, I kind of was showing you as I was talking what the best-selling accessory is, and that is our grid glider. So our grid glider we developed about 3-4 years ago. We took it to market in Houston. It was a huge success, and it's just gotten bigger since then. What this allows is for you to have not just that smooth, flat sewing surface that acts like a mat, like we showed you with that ruler work glider, but it gives you all the measurements. So I'm going to take you through the process of actually not only showing you how to install the grid glider, because there's some extra install tips here, but also how to take it out of the tube. Because, you know, it comes in a really skinny tube, and sometimes people have a hard time taking it out of the tube. So here's a tip for how to take the grid glider out of the tube. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
So it's got a little cap on the end. So I've just taken the cap off, and I'm going to put my finger in the hole. You can kind of see that I'm putting my finger in the hole, and I'm just going to grab the glider, and I'm going to spin. There's a white tab at the top of that. It's going to help you peel off the back. I'm spinning it, and I'm pulling it out of the tube. Why? Because it kind of expands into the tube. So there's a lot of folks that have gotten this and had no idea how in the world they would ever get the glider out. Well, all you have to do is put your finger in it and then kind of tighten it in and then spin and pull it out with your thumb, and it comes out like magic. So that is our super tip of the day, how to get the grid glider out of the tube.
That was pure magic.
Pure magic. Okay, so now I've unrolled it. Notice it's got a little bit of like it's all rolled up now. How is this going to lay flat, right? Well, it actually does lay flat quite nicely still. Don't worry about that. But there is a little peel here tab. So I'm going to go ahead and use that peel here tab, and I'm going to peel off the back side. Okay, so I've peeled off the back side of the glider, and now I'm going to install it onto the Sew Steady table. So notice one thing before I install it. I feel like this is one of those YouTube videos or the Facebook videos where we like wait, and we keep telling you reasons why we can't actually show you how to install it or what it's going to be at the end. I don't know if anybody has gotten sucked into those, but I won't do that to you. This is got markings that are going to be official center crosshair markings for the needle in the center of the grid. And the reason for that being so important, these double-lined, double-dotted thick lines are your center points. That's your crosshair for your needle. So the reason why that's important is because we have 1/4 inch markings. So if you're sewing and you need a 1/4 inch seam allowance, we've got those on both sides of the needle. You've got your 3/8 inch mark, you've got your 5/8 inch mark. So you want your needle position aligned with that when you lay it down onto the table. So now I'm going to go ahead and install this onto the table. Again, I'm paying special attention to my 1/4 inch markings. And now notice, guys, I'm installing this onto a machine that has a pretty tiny free arm. And so in doing that, I might find that I need to actually cut down my grid glider a little bit. And that's okay to do that. It's still going to work just the same. It's not going to ruin the grid glider to cut it. It's meant to be altered to work with your sewing environment. So I'm noticing right here, my grid glider is like going up the free arm. You can kind of see that. So I can keep it there. It's not bothering me. But if I find that, I'm doing a big project and things are getting stuck on it, then I might decide to just cut it down. So I've gone ahead and now I'm just smoothing everything out. You can adjust it, kind of put it back into place that way. But I have now officially installed my grid glider, and I'm going to bring you a little bit closer to the machine again and to kind of see the close-up of this and how I installed it, so you understand like how it's installed with the needle position being the focal point, all that jazz. So, and then notice that when I installed it, I got some thread underneath it. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull that thread out. See if I can do that. Like I got thread out.
I can see this being very, very useful, having that grid right there.
Oh yeah, and I mean I would say that America has also agreed with you there. That this is something that America, the whole world. We got an email the other day from, I can't think of what country it was, but it was a country kind of in Europe that a store was saying, hey, we really like your products. We actually really want to just bring in the grid glider. We're like, oh,
really?
Okay, well, yeah, I guess we'll send you our grid glider. But it's very unique in what it was designed and to be used for, and it's something that it answers solutions worldwide for folks that are doing sewing projects. It also provides a grid, so it's a centering grid. So you've got 11 inches to the left of the needle, and you've got 8 inches to the right of the needle with a grid, and 12 inches depth.
So is this another one of those products that realistically is long? And I guess because you can trim it, you could probably use this on any of your tables.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, it works great on any of our Sew City tables. And notice that it's not necessarily filling the whole table. The goal again is just to have it fill around that sewing area where you really need to have that fabric moving freely. So
I see some angles on there too, so that looks super helpful.
Yeah, so we actually have had some YouTube videos you can find out there where they show you how you can do some really cool flying geese designs and that sort of thing using the angles.
So I may be getting a little bit ahead of myself, but can you use that with some of the other tools? I know some of the other tools that you have used the table there to like circles and whatnot. Can you use that with the grid glider still on there?
You can, but let's go ahead and show you another amazing product that we developed recently where that is exactly what you would do. And that comes with its own unique mat. So I think we need to show you that amazing unique glider in itself. And then you can decide if you want to use the grid glider or if you just want to use the glider that was intended for. So great lead in there. Thanks for keeping me going.
I didn't even mean to. I was just curious.
No, I love it. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut this extra thread off. And then because I'm done with my glider for now, I'm going to roll this up. But Mike, I was going to suggest that maybe we should give some of these accessories away as we're showing them off.
I think that everybody would be all for that. All right, guys, so I'm going to pause this right here. So this was completely impromptu, completely unplanned. And so we came up with a way for you guys to register. So depending on where you're watching, after the show is done, head over to talkinstitches.com. If you have not already joined the VIP Facebook group, make sure and do so. I've posted the link in the Facebook group where to register. So there are quite a few different items that Stacy's going to be giving away. So basically all of these items that she's demonstrating, save for the table, so all of these add-on accessories, she wants to give away. And so we came up with a great way for everybody to at least be able to be eligible, and especially if you're watching. So it's a great way to give back. So guys, head over to talkinstitches.com after the broadcast and make sure that you sign up for the Facebook group, because there's a post in there that has the registration link for you guys to sign up for, to be eligible for the accessory. So guys, it's talkinstitches.com. Joe, do you have that, a banner you could put that up there? So talkinstitches.com. It's the Facebook group that we created, and in there's a post with a link that you can click through to register for yeah. And great, yeah, you can also post all your show and tell submissions there too. So I'm going to go ahead and actually I don't know if there's some of these comments here I could actually questions here. Sandra was wanting to know, is the microfiber cloth the same one to use as to clean eyewear? So I'm not going to say it's exactly the same, but at least in principle it's very similar. It is a microfiber cloth. And Lorraine was wanting to know if she can pre-order for the next round of the suspension system orders now. And the answer to that is not just yet, Lorraine. We've actually got some special stuff we're working on right now that I can't go 100% into detail. The only thing I'm going to tell you is just watch your emails. And so I have another question here. So the table is made to order. How long does it take to get? Yes, it's 100% custom cut specifically for your machine. And how long does it take to get? Well, if you order that on our website, we do mention 4 to 6 weeks. That's a worst case scenario. So Steady tends to get them out in between, we'll say 2 to 3 weeks, depending on how how long the backlog is. So realistically, around 2 to 3 weeks, but we like to give it at least 4 to 6 because it just depends on the time of the year. Because I do know that these tables are super popular, and because they are custom cut, it does take a little bit longer than an average item. So great questions, guys. Keep it coming. I'm going to go ahead and let Stacy take back over here. But again, for the giveaways, make sure you head over to that Facebook group, talkinstitches.com, and ask for membership. We'll let you in so that you can get yourself all registered.
What do you think?
I think we should do it.
Okay. So I'll let you pick the winners. I've got the accessories that we've showed off. We've got our grid glider that we just took off. You can give that away. We did the ruler work glider, the spinner tray, the polish kit. Ooh, we've got a few things to give away, don't we?
Holy cow. We're giving away all those things? Man, it's going to be a good show.
Good. These are all accessories that you can use on our Sew Steady tables. And hey, by the way,
yes,
the glider, the polish, those work amazing on our table cabinet inserts too.
Well, I'm glad that you brought that up, because that's one of the things I wanted to talk about.
Yeah. So should we do our circle sewing first, or should we show off that option?
Oh, I definitely want to see that tool that you have in your hand. I saw Donnell use this the other day, and I got to tell you, I'm kind of becoming obsessed with it.
It's really fun. I actually was just doing some projects using the Artisan Lace book by Janet Collins. I was doing a ruler work project, and the Artisan Lace project called out circle sizes, and it called out specific sizes, like use your circles on quilts template with use the 2.5 inch channel to create a 2.5 inch circle. And so instead of using my circles on quilts Westerly Design rulers, I actually used my circles and straights mat. Why? Because my circles and straights mat actually has my circle sizes marked off all the way from 2 inches right here, all the way out to 29 inches, guys. So I don't have to guess that the exact size of circle that I'm going to be making. It's right here for me under the same concept of lining it up to the needle.
So wait, so did I just hear you right? So I can make a 29 inch circle?
Yeah.
Holy cow. That's a
big
circle.
And it will actually 30 inches because it goes to the edge, and you kind of can, understand that that's a 30 inch circle out there. But that's what this mat is telling you, is it's telling you how big of a circle you're going to make using the mat. So I was able to do that on a ruler work project because I just pulled the mat out and I pulled the tool out that comes with the mat to make my circles instead of pulling out my Wesley Designs 4-piece circle set. I just decided, hey, I want to use my circle sewing tool today instead. So I'm going to show you how this works, but it's the same concept. You're going to peel off the back, and then I'll show you a couple other tips that you can do with this. So I'm going to peel off the back, and I'm going to install it onto the table. All right, so I've done that.
So guys, I'm going to just tell you real quick, guys, if you haven't seen this tool used, you're in for a treat. This is a really, really cool tool, and I think you're going to find it's very useful for many things. Like Stacy was just saying, you're going to find yourself using this more and more than you ever thought you would.
Absolutely. So I like to keep everything kind of straight and aligned as I'm putting it on. I'm using that ruler that's on the front of the table to kind of line up against. Sometimes your needle plate actually has some markings to show you that needle placement, the horizontal. But I will tell you, when you're doing circle sewing, it is very important to have your circle sewing needle aligned with your sewing machine needle. And I'll show you what that means here in a second. Okay, so now I've gone ahead and laid down my Circles and Straights mat, and I'm going to go ahead and install the tool. So this is our Circles and Straights tool. It's got this kind of this little rigid edge on one end. What's that rigid edge for? It's for taking the tool off the mat. And then it's got a straight edge on this end, and then it's got this little white thing poking up. And what that white thing is it's actually covering up a needle, guys. So you can kind of see that needle right there. You can see the needle. So that's covering up a needle, and that's where our fabric, the center of our circle, is going to be poked through there, and that's what our what we're going to be pivoting on when we do our circle sewing. Now, one of the things that I wanted to actually tell you is this is called our Circles and Straights sewing tool. The straights part is on the right side of the needle. And it actually, this mat also has the 1/4 inch markings, the 3/8 inch markings, and the 5/8 markings. And guess what else? This tool can be used as a sew straight guide. So you would actually just, if you were looking to do like a bunch of piecing all at once, I used it when I was doing my t-shirt quilt. I just laid it down on my 1/4 inch seam allowance and got it all lined up that way. And then I had my fabric butting up against that as I was sewing straight seams and using the markings on the mat to make sure I was getting a 1/4 inch.
So does that tool just kind of adhere itself to the mat like the other items do?
It does. So this has a super sticky back, and I just peeled off a clear piece that comes off of that. I couldn't find it because it's clear, but this I peeled off of that super sticky. And so when you're done, I just put that clear piece right back on that super sticky, and it allows me to go ahead and store it without having that sticky getting linted up.
So guys, what you're seeing there is she's peeling off that release paper. Make sure you don't throw it away, and take note of where you put it, because it being clear, it is easy to lose.
Easy to lose. So I think I'm just going to put mine into my spinner tray. So
I'm glad that you did that. That is a great place for it.
Yeah. So I'm going to spin my spinner tray out, and I'm going to toss it in. It's got like kind of some static cleaning action going on, so it's going to stick to the table too. Okay, so I now have a super sticky ready to stick down. Now, because it is super sticky, guys, again, these grippers on the right side really play into factor in being able to remove it from that mat. And then also keep in mind, it's super sticky. There's no need to press it down really hard. Once it's in place, you're not going to see a lot of movement out of it. So I have a quilt square that is about 14 inches in all. So I'm going to go ahead and do a 13-inch circle or a 12-inch circle. Let's do a 12-inch circle. And right now, I'm going to get you a little bit closer because I want to show you how I'm lining up my tool to do that. So I've gone ahead and I'm using the markings on the mat, and then I'm going to go ahead and line up not just the crosshair square, the crosshair that is showing the markings on the vertical, but I also want to line up the horizontal. And I noticed that it wasn't totally aligned on the horizontal. So now I'm going to readjust that, and I'm getting it completely aligned on the horizontal. So now you see the horizontal line is lined up and the vertical. Okay, so now that's stuck on, and now it's time to put the fabric in place. So I'm going to grab a fabric sandwich that I have ready here, and I'll put you back over into your holder so you can watch this from a little bit of a distance and give you this experience of seeing how this is going to work.
Yeah, I think I speak for everybody when I say this. I really appreciate you setting aside this time to take us through a deep dive in all of these accessories. It really makes it a lot easier to see just exactly how we use all of these in conjunction with these tables.
Absolutely. No, I always love the opportunity to do this because it is fun to be able to show off everything that we can do. Now, if you were wanting to get a circle that was perfectly centered in this block, yeah, you could use one of our Wesley Design crosshair rulers. But, you know, here's some quick tips that, you know, some of our educators will show you, like Donnell. You're just going to fold it. Just fold it and then get a little pucker in the center of that. And that's where you know you're going to, that's how you know you're going to be centered in the block when you go to put it onto the needle. Okay, so I've got my little fold pucker here, and now I'm just going to put it right onto the needle. And I always kind of do the spin test to see if the
So we just had a quick question here. Lorraine was wanting to know if you can actually get the mat without buying the tool. And the answer to that, as Becky noted, is yes. And that is actually news to me. I just found out from Sarah as well. So look for that soon. We're going to get that up there on the website as well. So great question, Lorraine. And thank you for your help, Becky. We learn every single day, as I'm learning a ton. You know, I just recorded this with her a couple of days ago, and I'm still learning more. So great question. And again, guys, we're going to get that loaded onto the website here real soon. And again, keep those questions coming in. That's why we love doing these shows. So I'm going to get this.
The needle and thread are going to hit all the areas on my project. And I just did it, and it worked. So now I'm just going to go ahead and push the pin more onto the top of the needle, and that's just protecting my fingers. And then we get to go ahead and choose our stitch. So this is our stitch length here. Now this is one of these fancy machines that actually has an app that goes with it, where I'd be choosing my stitch on my app. But because I'm actually using my phone to do some of this recording today, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go ahead and let the basic stitch work right now. So
I'm glad that you put that pin more down in the middle, because I was going to ask you if there would be any benefit to putting that back on there. I'm sure that the fabric tends not to slip off of that, but I could see in the rarest of possibility it happening, and that would probably stop that.
Yeah. And then this machine actually has the feed dogs, where you raise and lower the feed dogs right underneath the free arm in the front. So I just raise the feed dogs up, because this is actually something you want to use with your feed dogs up, because you want the foot to grab your you want the foot to go ahead and grab your fabric and have it move as you're doing your circle. So I don't have the right foot on here right now. Normally I would use just a standard walking foot to do this, but I'm going to see if we can do it with our So Steady Wesley Design ruler foot. And I'm just going to tighten that foot right onto the shank right now. And I'm just have a giant screwdriver to do that.
So this would be a perfect time to do a shout out for that polish kit again, because you know, if it's been a little while, you definitely want to keep that nice and polished up, because it's going to make sure that that fabric is gliding perfectly over there.
Absolutely. And so again, with the feed dogs up and your standard foot on, It's going to just do this without you having to actually move the fabric at all. It's going to take this for you and just have it make a perfect circle with no effort on your end besides just kind of keeping the fabric smooth going through that needle area. And so a lot of times we'll just kind of say, smooth it out. I'm going to actually go a little bit faster because I can. And again, because I have my ruler foot on and not a standard walking foot, I'm finding that I'm having to go ahead and move it in the circle. But guess what? That's not going to affect the outcome because we're still pivoting in that same spot. We're still going to create a perfect circle even though I'm the one spinning it and the machine isn't doing it for me. And as we get closer, I like to slow down the machine a little bit. Just make sure I'm hitting it right where I want to hit it. And voila. Let's see if we did it, guys. I think we made a perfect circle. So, so that is an amazing way to be able to do circles. And then, a lot of times I'll do, like little embellishments where I'll create a fun ruler work design, but I want to finish the project by doing, kind of creating maybe like a little circle pillow or something like that. Or just incorporate a circle that goes, inside of the design that you're working from. A lot of our templates are actually spinning templates, especially like our artisan designs. And so the circles work really fun with those and kind of incorporating some different designs outside of them. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut my thread there, and I'll show you the outcome of using our Circles and Straights tool to make a 12-inch circle. And there it is, guys. You can kind of see it. It's actually, you can see it better on this side, I think. But this is again, it's a 12-inch circle. And we started right up here at the top, and the back side, you can kind of see where we started and stopped right there. That's the front side view of it. And I think we did great. It's a perfect circle.
Yeah, that's really, I really do like that tool. It's amazing how something so simplistic in nature can make things so much easier.
Yep, and so now if I was just going to remove the Circles and Straights mat from my machine, I would go ahead and just kind of spin that tool off. Now that it's been used, it's going to stick on there nice and tight. So I'm just using the grippers to kind of spin it off. And notice I don't use a lot of strength to do that. And then I'll go ahead and put that back onto it. And I found that in my spinner tray. And so I'm going to go ahead and stick that back onto the back like so. And then I will go ahead and peel off my Circles and Straights mat, which, again, this is a great tool. You could be using this for all kinds of projects. You don't have to remove this mat. If you're doing straight sewing or anything, you can just keep that mat on as long as you like. It's only going to help in some of the measurements and stuff that you might need. And then I'm just going to roll it back up, and then I'll put it back into our Circles and Straights packaging, which is kind of a nice clear box that you can store it all in for when you're not using it. So I'm just going to put my glider in there, and then I'll drop this tool back inside of it, and this is ready to give away.
So
you can do it too, right?
That's right. So this is another one of those tools. So you can use that pretty much on any table, can't you?
And insert. That's the really cool thing. This works amazing on Sew Steady cabinet inserts.
That is really cool. So was that a lead in there? Are we ready to do the next thing?
Should we walk you over? I actually have a cabinet insert set up in my office, so I thought.
All right, so before we head over there, Fran was asking if she could use that tool to make circles on a large quilt. And Fran, I'm not entirely sure what direction we're headed with this question. I can tell you that the Circles and Straights, you can make a circle up to 29 inches. And I think as far as the workspace that you have to work with underneath your machine, of course, that's going to be dictated by the throat and the machine that you have. So the answer to that is maybe. I can tell you though that you can make those circles up to 29 inches. You may have a hard time spinning a full-size quilt if you have a smaller machine. So again, a lot of that is going to be dictated by the machine that you have. But without further ado, let's see what we got for these inserts.
I would show you that, if that's okay, and
Heck
then
yeah.
we'll take you over to the actual Sew Steady website, and we'll show you some of our other tools.
So, you know, I got this fancy banner here that says inserts and insets. What's the difference? So, you know, we got to go through that.
Oh yeah, so now you're gonna see some extra. There's the machine. Okay, so this is the machine that I have set up in my office. Unfortunately, you're not going to be able to see this machine in action today because it's not, I don't even have a plug-in for it. But I do love having it set up for being able to show people how cabinet inserts and insets work. So what we have here is we have a machine that has a nice bevel. Notice the bevel again, guys. So this is how we do handle bevels and nice contours on sewing machines for inserts. We have this little kind of grooved cutout so we can get as close to the machine as possible when there's a hover thing. You can kind of see that hover again right there. We're going up and over the machine to be able to make sure your fabric's flowing really smoothly all the way through that sewing machine. So that's got another hover thing going on. Okay, so what we have is we've gone ahead and fit it perfectly around the cutout of the machine. And then we also have asked you, as you were ordering, what is the size of your opening? And so the size of this opening has everything to do with this little groove, this lip that you see here. So this is a lip that was built into this special cabinet. I'm not sure what the cabinet name is. I think that this might be a Janome cabinet that came with one of their specialty machines. And somebody's wanting to incorporate a different machine into it. So this is the insert that was ordered. They gave us the opening dimensions. So again, because this one is kind of unique in the opening dimensions, we would have asked them to provide the opening dimensions with which we would be resting the insert. So because the insert's resting right here on this ledge, we call it an inset. So an inset is when it's resting on a ledge that's built into the cabinet that's a 1/4 inch recessed. And why does it need to be a 1/4 inch? Well, because we have a 1/4 inch acrylic. So if it was a 1/2 inch recessed, we wouldn't have, the acrylic wouldn't be set at the correct height. It wouldn't be the height of the actual top of the cabinet. And so we wouldn't be able to accommodate that. But because it's a 1/4 inch recessed ledge, we are able to accommodate our 1/4 inch acrylic insert or inset to be able to sit there and then have your machine fit on the ledge to be able to be perfectly level with the top of the cabinet, and then have the insert perfectly level with the cabinet and the machine. So I will say cabinet inserts can be a little tricky. You've got to know your opening dimensions of your cabinet. You've got to know that if it's got a ledge or not, and that you're going to have the insert sitting on it. Now, what happens if there is no ledge? What if this was just flat all the way around the same height as the top of the cabinet? Well, then we call it an insert. And an insert, we actually have a lip. And that lip actually sits all the way around the top edge of the cabinet, and that makes it so we can so it'll be a little bit recessed, but we've got a nice bevel all the way around that insert, so fabric is still going to move smoothly from the cabinet to the insert to the free arm of the machine.
So as a general rule, if your cabinet has a ledge, you're ordering an inset. If
That's right.
Do not have a ledge, if your cabinet is completely flat around the edges, like Stacy just said, you're wanting an insert, because
Correct.
The insert will support itself, whereas the cabinet supports the inset.
Correct.
Got it. Clear as mud.
Oh, I think we got it. We'll
so
do
you're
a test
saying
now.
Sorry for going. So a lot of these tools work right there with the inserts and the insets.
Oh yeah. So actually what I was going to do is I thought I would show you one of our gliders, and I would set it up right here on this inset, because I want to show you it works with everything. So this is actually our small Sew Steady glider. We have a big and we have a small, and I thought that this would work great for showing off the it on an insert, because the small is just a really great size for a lot of the inserts that we have on the market. The small is a I think it's a 10 by 13 size, and maybe 11 by 13. That's what I'm seeing here. 11 deep by 13 in length. And notice that I'm able to go ahead and align it again with the needle area. And I've got it aligned with the needle area in the front and the back. And then I can lay that down, and look what I've got, guys. I've got a grid that works perfectly on my insert.
So is that the grid glider?
That is our small grid glider. Yeah, so it's our small grid glider. We offer a standard size grid glider, which is the green one, that's 12 by 20. This one is an 11 by 13. So it's just a little bit smaller, but it works great in smaller spaces and with some of our, cabinet inserts, and of course, our smaller tables.
Yeah, that looks great.
Yeah.
I could really see how that would help someone.
So this is going to be an amazing option for anyone that is looking for that glider, but maybe doesn't need anything too big, and wants to add it to like a cabinet insert, inset, or a small table. I had one more accessory that I wanted to show you on my table, and it's actually great timing because we're just kicking off a new promotion with it.
Well, let's see it.
Would it be okay if I showed that to you now?
Oh, of course.
Okay, so let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and show you an accessory that allows you to do something amazing here, guys. This accessory allows you to turn your Sew Steady table into a light box. That's right. We have a light stick. So this accessory basically comes with a light bar that allows you to go ahead and put it underneath the table, and has dimming options. So you can go ahead and turn your table into a light table. We had people saying for years, oh, you should make a light table. You should, have an option to add a light into your table so people can use it as a light box. And so we listened, and we created a solution years ago that did just that. And so
So guys, I'm going to just pause this real quick here because Stacy's going to talk about this. Right now, Sew Steady is running a promotion on any of the tables that you order this quarter. You can purchase the light box and a Quilter's Creative pen for just $10. That option is available on all of the tables right now on the website. So again, guys, that is for this quarter. You can add that light stick and a single Quilter's Creative pen. You're going to see that here in just a little bit for just $10, which is a substantial savings. And once you see just what she does with it, I'm going to tell you, everybody should order it for $10. It is worth its weight in gold. But I just wanted to let you know, if you do order a table from now until the end of this quarter in 2022, of course, this video is going to live in YouTube forever, but from now until the end of this quarter in 2022, you can get the light stick and a Quilter's Creative pen for just $10, which is, again, a substantial savings. And you guys are going to love this. Wait till you see what she does.
Go ahead and show you how it works right now, and then I'll show you a few different ways that you can really incorporate it into your use with your table. So it comes with the cord here. It is a USB cord, so if you don't have a plug-in on your machine, a lot of machines have a USB plug-in, so it'll work off of your operating information, your electricity that's attached to your machine. But if it doesn't, then all you need is a USB plug-in. Or for me today, I was going to try to plug it into my my computer because it's got obviously USB ports. So let's see if I can do that really quick and bring my computer a little bit closer so I can make that work. All right, so again, I'm using my USB ports on my computer to go ahead and light this bar up. So how do I know it's lit up? There's a little blue thing right there. And now I'm going to do that. What do you guys think if I turned off the lights?
I think that'd be cool. Kind of
Okay, let's
spooky,
do it.
but let's do it.
Okay, turning off the lights now, guys.
Oh,
All right.
look at that. How about
So
some mood lighting for your sewing machine?
I've just turned this light, this on to full blast, and now I'm going to dim it. I'm just holding down on it to dim it. So now you can see I've got all these dimming options available, but all you need to do is hold down onto it to dim it to different lights brightnesses. So now what I want to do is I want to go ahead and put it underneath my table because I'm turning my table into a light box. So I'll turn the light off on there, and I've got it sitting underneath my Sew Steady table. And then I might want to go ahead and do some drawings. So what do I have here? I actually have my new Sew Steady design pad, which again doesn't really work with our tables, but I guess if you were wanting to do some drawings and maybe do some transfer from an item to another item, you could actually use our design pad to do that. So our design pad has some grid markings all over it. I'll turn on the light here in a minute, but it kind of looks like this. It's got all these grid markings on it. It's got a little zone where you can write down your design that you just created. But I just tore off a sheet so I could use it to draw. And then I might want to go ahead and just take maybe a design, say, out of a magazine. A lot of times people are doing that with their light boxes, right? They're seeing maybe a project or something in a magazine, and they're wanting to kind of recreate the pattern. So they're just taking that right out of the magazine. So I just took a magazine that I had here in my office, and I'm going to go ahead and tear off that section. Why? Because
I was going to say, I don't think your light is quite that bright.
let's see. Yeah, I couldn't go through multiple
To
pages.
go through the whole magazine? Yeah, that'd be a stretch.
But
that
it
looks
is
great.
bright enough to do that, right?
That looks great. Yeah, heck yeah.
And so now I will take my pencil and I can use it to go ahead and trace out this, what I have shown right here on the in the magazine. And this is the true light box, right? This is why people have light boxes, so they can draw out these things. So now let me show you another way you can use this light box using our Sew Steady and Westerly design rulers and preview designs that you might want to put onto your projects. So this is just one way I just tore out and kind of used it the more traditional way of a light box. I'll get you a little bit closer so you can kind of see what I did there. I just put my magazine design right there, and then I went ahead and put my design pad sheet right over it, and I started tracing out the design that was right there using that light box feature.
Really useful.
Oh, I didn't even have that on full blast either.
Yeah,
So I
that's
just
amazing.
turned that light up and you can really see through there, right? Okay, so now I'm going to show you, whoa, look at that brightness. Now I'm going to show you how I might use that. And we're going to actually include this in our promotion this quarter. So the promotion is buy a Sew Steady table, get a light stick, and one of our Quilters Creative pens for $10 with the purchase of your Sew Steady table.
So is that the three-piece set?
Well, no, we're going to just throw in one of our Sew Steady pens. So, and what the goal is there is that you're able to go ahead and preview designs. So I was actually looking for my pens because I just had them and now I've covered them up somehow. So let's go ahead and see if I can find the pens.
Well, it doesn't help the fact that you've got the light off in there.
It's pretty dark in here right now. I'm not gonna lie. Okay. So,
So if a customer wanted to purchase those pens, they come in as a 3-piece set, though, correct?
that's right. Yeah.
All right.
So the pins are just another way to be able to preview designs. So I'm actually going to go ahead and turn the lights on for this, because what I would do in this scenario is I would go ahead and just use the pins to draw a design on my Sew Study table. And then I go ahead and use stitching line discs generally. I don't have any handy here, but I would use my stitching line disc to continue to draw those designs. And then I would go ahead and match the stitching line, or then I would go ahead and preview the design through the table. So what we're really showing you is that there's lots of great ways to use your Sew Study table to really be able to kind of turn it into more than just a way to be able to really easily create amazing sewing projects by holding up the fabric.
Well, and this is nice too, because not a lot of people would like to use a pen on their cabinet surface either.
Exactly. Yeah, so this is giving you a way to be able to draw onto your Sew Study table, and then that preview idea. So, you know, what I've done is I've just drawn some blue on there. So I'm going to show you how I could just kind of hold up my project underneath the table itself and be able to go ahead and see what that might look like. Now, it's a little bit more challenging right now because I've got some other things in the way. But let me see. Oh, here I have pink. Let me show you. If I were to put my project underneath here, then I would be able to say, oh, I like that design on this quilt project that I have right here, or this quilt block. So yeah, that looks really great. So you're kind of able to preview your design by drawing right there on the table, and then you can wipe it away with your Sew Study polish cloth.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, it's nice because you can, you know, you've got a couple of different size blocks that you're working with. You want to see exactly how it's going to fill in there. And I'm going to take this moment here just for a shameless self-plug, guys. Those sketchbooks that she just showed you are amazing. And Joe and I here are actually going to be producing some content specifically to show you how to map out those quilt blocks before you actually put them on your fabric.
Excellent.
Quite a bit before you ever even get to the sewing machine. So you guys look for that. We're going to be coming out with some fresh content for you regarding the sketchbook, and we're pretty excited about that.
So the only other thing I haven't shown you yet that was designed to be used with our Sew Study table is another brand new item that we developed recently, and it's called our Sew Study Table Caddy. So what is our Sew Study Table Caddy? Well, it's just a great way to be able to maybe even kind of store a cup right there on the edge of your Sew Study table. Oftentimes I'll put it on the right side because I'm right-handed. And then it comes again with that little clear piece where you can kind of adhere it to the bottom of the Sew Study table. And so I'm just going to peel that piece off. I'm going to attach it right there. And then it comes with an 8-inch ruler.
Well, you can't beat that.
You got your ruler right there. I can store my pen right there. Oops. How about my screwdriver? I can store my screwdriver right there.
Well, I mean, you got to have that close by.
I got my Sew Study Table Caddy, guys. And I know you just came out with a really cool little thing called Halo Rings that work really similar for being able to store all kinds of sizes of things. But our Sew Study Table Caddy does secure to your Sew Study table. Oh, I even have a little mug I can show you it with right now here, guys.
Well, that's what I was just going to say. Our Halo Rings are great for lots of things, but I can tell you right now, you will not fit a mug in them. No.
There it is. So you see I've got my mug there, I've got my scissors, and I've got my ruler in the back. So that is our Sew Study Table Caddy, which you can add to any existing table as well. So now I think I've gone through all of the accessories that like really attach to our Sew Study table.
Yeah, I think we did. Oh, you know what? The one thing that we didn't talk about,
What?
The table lock.
Oh, the table lock. Well, let's
Yep.
talk about that as I show off our So Steady Wish table. And I'm gonna show off the So Steady Wish table. Well, I actually have a table lock here. I can install it really quick. Does that sound good?
That sounds great.
Okay. So let me go ahead and show you how the table lock works. And again, I'm just locking you in. So our table lock comes with our So Steady Wish table, but you can purchase it separately. Why would you want a So Steady table lock? Well, we developed the table lock specifically because we found that sometimes some machines do a lot of vibration when they're sewing. And in vibration, sometimes your machine can just start walking away from the table can start walking away from the machine from the vibration. So the lock is meant to just kind of secure it in place. So when you take your So Steady table lock out of the package, it's going to come with a couple different things. You're going to want to pour everything out and look at it. So I've just poured everything out and I'm looking at it right here on my table. It comes with a suction cup. It comes with this little L-shaped bracket, and then it comes with this double-sided Velcro tape. And so what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to go ahead and secure the suction cup. This is what they call a mushroom. I was able to turn up the volume on my, I know what I did. Sorry about that. Turn it down the volume again.
There you go.
Okay. So I'm going to put the mushroom top into and secure it into the top of the L. So like that. So again, the L is at the top. I've gone ahead and put the mushroom onto that. And so the suction cup is facing upwards. And then I'm going to go ahead and secure the Velcro. So I'm going to peel off the back of one of the Velcro pieces. And I'm going to keep them actually secured to each other right now, just for ease. And then I'm going to go ahead and secure that to the flat end of the lock. Okay. And let's see here. So I've gone ahead and peeled that off. And so now that's secure. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a spot on my table where I feel like it's going to be super flat on the machine and on the table to suction cup the section to the table itself and then secure the Velcro to the machine. So I think I just found that location. This one's going to be on the tip of the free arm. Not all free arms are super flat at the tip, so it won't necessarily be that spot for everyone at every machine, but that's the goal, is to find a really nice flat spot. So then I secure it to the machine, and then I secure it to the table kind of all at the same time. And then what you're going to find is that extra section with the Velcro really keeps that machine from having a lot of vibration and being able to pull off super easily.
Wow, that looks like it would work really well.
So that is our So Steady table lock. Like I said, it does come with our Wish table, but it is something you can purchase separately if you want to add it to other machines. So, you know, I guess we could give a So Steady table lock away too, Mike.
Oh my gosh.
That wouldn't hurt.
I'm telling you, you guys caught Stacy in a giving mood.
Yeah.
I've never seen this many giveaways.
I'm going to be honest with you though. I'm giving away these items that we've now showed today. So, you know, they're gonna be what we call them, gently used, because we've showed them off. So they've been pulled out of the package to show them off. So now these are the items that we're going to be sending all of you. Because when anything has been pulled out of packaging, we consider it a used item, and so we actually can't resell it.
Right. No, I get it. But that's very, very.
So then why don't we give it away, right?
Yep,
Why wouldn't we give away something we can't resell? That's a perfect opportunity for everybody to win. It's a win-win opportunity, right?
It is. You know, I'm looking over at our notes here, and one of the things that we didn't talk about, and maybe it's something we can talk about with the Wish table there, is the 4-inch circle sewing tool. Is that something that you still offer?
It sure is, and that's built into our Wish table. So the Wish table comes with holes.
What a perfect lead-in.
So the wish table comes with holes, and the circle sewing tool is an excellent solution for dropping into the holes. It allows you to do what we showed you today, like with the circles and straights tool, only it's a metal tool that actually has prongs that are distanced to work with the holes in the wish table as well as the deluxe table. So it's a great solution. And it's married to the wish table, so we actually go ahead and include it with the purchase of the wish table. And so let's go ahead and take you over to my computer now, if that works okay for everyone. And I'm going to go ahead and show you some of the amazing options that we have on our SewSteady website, and some of the variety, and then we can talk a little bit, Mike, about why we would maybe select those options. Why would we want to get a wish table? Why would we want to get some of the other tables that we have right here on our SewSteady website?
So I'm going to pause it real quick here. So Stacy's going to go through a lot of these options and show you them on the SewSteady website. The reason why I wanted to pause here is that all of the items that she's going to be showing and talking to you about are listed below the live feed on sewforless.com. And you may be wondering, well, why am I telling you that? Well, first of all, obviously, I'd love it if you purchased it through us. Second of all, if you do decide to purchase any of these things, you'll notice on the sewforless.com website, all of the SewSteady items listed below the live feed have free shipping on them. That's right. Everything, even down to that table lock, has free shipping on them. And on top of it, we offer exclusive discounts for you guys on the tables. So if you see anything that she's showing you, I would invite you to come back and double check on the sewforless.com website, because not only are you going to be getting free shipping, if you're ordering a table, you're going to be getting an additional savings. So make sure that you double check that. If you are so inclined to place an order, obviously you don't have to. We're just glad that you're here. But if you do want to, make sure you double check on sewforless.com, because you're going to be getting free shipping even on the table lock if you order it by itself. Yeah, I'd like to do that.
Okay, so we've gone through, and you guys now understand the amazingness of our SewSteady large table. So I'm not going to highlight that. We actually have basically we have 5 sizes of what we call basic tables. Our SewSteady basic tables include our junior, our big, our giant, and our large. So what's the difference in our junior? Well, our junior is an 11 by 15 basic table. So it's got all the same features as the large, but it's a little bit smaller. It's quite a bit smaller, actually. Our big is 24 by 24 inches. And then our giant is 24 by 32. So that is by far our biggest table. And you know, it's a very popular table for people that have big machines that don't plan to travel a whole lot with them, because they love the extra work surface, right?
That's a large table. There's no question.
So our large, our junior, our big, and our giant are our basic tables. They don't come with any extra bells and whistles, but they do come with different sizes of work surface. Some people really like the junior because they have a small machine and they just want to do smaller projects and they don't have a lot of work surface, so that works out well for them. But as we've discussed, our large is our best-selling size at 18 by 24. Then we have a 24 by 24, and then finally we have a 24 by 32. Those are our basic. We covered the cabinet inserts and the difference between inserts and insets. Let's see if I can actually show you a picture of that lip on the insert. I think that that would be really helpful to see the lip feature. Let's see if I can do that. All right. So I think that, this machine right here, this cabinet, let's see, you can kind of see, I believe that this has the lip kind of going around. You can kind of see it sitting on the outside ledge, maybe not. Let's see if I can show you another one here, another picture. All right. That's a lip. Do you see that?
Yep, that's very clear.
and that's beveled, and it's all the way around the machine, around the cabinet. So it's got a nice rounded bevel, so that makes it so fabric will move up smoothly onto it. But that is a lip that would go on all the way around the outside, and that's for cabinets that don't have the 1/4 inch ledge built into them. So that is our insert information. So now as we jump into some of our specialty tables, we have those down below here. Let's talk about those. Oh, one other basic specialty, or one other basic table we have a size for is called our small. And that is actually intended to be the starting size for sergers. We call it our small serger table. It's 18 by 18. And we did that because a serger actually wouldn't be able to get a junior. It's just sergers tend to be too deep. They're deeper than our 11.5 depth on our junior would allow. So we created a serger small, which is an 18 by 18, and that you can actually get for any sewing machine you want. But we can't go any smaller than a serger small for sergers. Now, if you have a serger and you wanted, say, a giant, you can get that. You just can't get a junior.
So you can get bigger tables for your serger.
You can. Yeah, you can go all the way up to a giant table. You can get a wish table for your serger.
Wow. I mean,
Yeah.
that would give you a ton of space to work with.
Yeah, it would give you a ton of space. And some people have really loved doing the wish with the circles.
You know, I'm going to go ahead and do a
The
little
serger.
self plug here, guys. When you scroll down, whenever you're watching here on SewForLess.com, if you scroll down, we actually have free shipping on all of the tables right now. So just something to take into consideration.
Oh, that's exciting. So then let's talk a little bit about some of the variety. I think recently you said, what in the world would you do with a ruler base? Why would you buy a ruler base table? So I thought I would show you why we developed a domestic ruler base table. So this was originally developed really to be kind of used primarily with the new handy quilter frame that came out that kind of entered the market in the last couple of years. That has a nice platform and is ideal for putting your larger domestic sewing machines right there onto the platform, and then being able to attach it to a frame and start doing kind of some more long arm work where you've got your machine kind of pointed towards you, but you're using your domestic machine. So why would you want a ruler base for that? Well, you're using, and you're any kind of ruler works or any kind of setup like this, your main fabric resting point is going to be your free arm. So if you have a standard domestic machine, your free arm is typically pretty skinny. And so you're going to want to have some sort of flat area to potentially just rest your hands, so you're able to, kind of move the fabric easily. But especially if you're doing ruler work on that, while you've got it framed up, you absolutely need a flat sewing surface to do that. So the ruler bases tend to be smaller. Why? Because you actually, it's meant to be able to work within a frame. So if you put a really big table on the underside of a frame and work them together, you wouldn't be able to get as close to the edge of that framed up fabric as you wanted. So our ruler bases tend to be like a 13 by 13 size or even smaller, again, to be able to fit and do ruler work within your framed up project. And so I'm going to show you a couple other pictures. You can kind of see the ruler base table there. Again, it's sitting on the ledge or on the platform that is built into that frame for your machine to sit on. And it's really important to know that we actually have to be able to rest our legs on that platform for our ruler bases to work. It can't just be like a frame that doesn't have a flat surface to rest your machine. but this is our Sew City domestic ruler base, and that's what it's for. It's for people that want to do frame up options with their domestic machines. Now, if you have a long arm machine, we also offer long arm tables, and those are actually a little bit bigger. It's 15 by 16, and it's meant for some of those true long arm machines in the market. So again, same sort of concept. The long arm machine will have a flat platform to rest your machine on, and then we make a table that secures to that platform. So that's called our long arm table. And then we have some really cool variety of tables. Now, our other best-selling table besides our large Sew City table is our Wish table, guys. Our Wish table right here was created by all these quilters that for years were telling us all the things that they loved about our tables, but things they wanted more of. So our Wish table, you can see we've got a few 5-star reviews from customers. Our Wish table comes with some fun features. Look at that big blue drawer. Imagine all of these things that you can store in this big blue drawer. I've got my bobbins in one. I've got my feet in another compartment. I've got my needles in this compartment here. But this is amazing for being able to store all those little things that you know you need to keep around you and have for easy access at the needle area. So this is really, really popular. Our Wish table, people see that and they think, I wish I would have gotten that one. But that's why we created it. Initially, we called it the Quilter's Wish table. It was because of all the wishes that people said they needed in a table. So this table is 22.5 by 25, so it's a little bigger table. Comes with the big blue drawer, comes with the circle sewing tool. So you can kind of see that metal circle sewing tool right there. I'm going to see if I can actually get a little bit more of a close-up for you on that. As we dive in, I have this fancy thing here. Oops. Oh, let's see if my close-up will work. No.
So that does come in 2 different sizes though, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, so that's the circle sewing tool. So our Wish table comes in a giant size as well. So you can purchase it as a standard 22.5 by 25 size, or you can purchase it in a giant size. And then it comes with the drawer, it comes with the circle sewing tool. And then do you see these little dots across here? Those are the holes in the Wish table to drop your circle sewing tool into. So a similar concept with that pin that sticks up and your fabric pivots on that pin. The circle sewing tool drops that has a couple prongs that drop into the holes of the table and allow you to pivot around the needle using that tool. So that's another great concept that's built into the table itself. A couple other fun features about this table, it's got beveled edges on 3 sides. So our basic tables actually are beveled on just the front end. This table is beveled on 3 edges. So it comes with that beveling, which is another great feature for being able to really keep your fabric moving smoothly around the needle area. So our Wish table is definitely very, very popular. Comes in the 2 sizes, like you said, the 24 by 32, our giant size, and that's $2.99, or you can get it in the 22.5 by 25 size. That's the $2.29. So the next popular circle sewing table is our deluxe, and that's an 18 by 24 size table. It comes with a single compartment drawer, much like our spinner tray. These can't be retroed into the table. It does kind of come as it's built into the legs of the table, and that's true for the Wish as well. You can't retro that drawer onto a table because the bracket that holds the drawer in place is really built into the leg system. So it's not something that leg placement when you're drilling holes in the table is all part of that. So you can't retro it in. So, but this table also has holes in it for doing circle sewing. It comes with a little pen that allows you to go ahead and secure to the underside of the table, and then you use your pinboard to secure that in place. And then it comes with the drawer and the beveled front edge. So that one just comes in an 18 by 24 size. So now I've showed you our kind of our circle sewing tables. or tables that offer those features. I've showed you our long arm tables. What I haven't showed you is our classic table. That table was meant for one machine only. And if you know machines, then you know that's a Singer Featherweight, guys. So this table was meant to be your Singer Featherweight's best friend. It's made out of black acrylic. It's got this filigree with gold printed ink, as well as your metric ruler printed right there on the table itself. It comes with, it's in a 17 3/4 by 22.5 inch size, so real close to that 18 by 24 that people love. And again, that portable leg system, and it's beveled on all 3 sides. And guess what else, guys? It comes with a polish kit. Why? Because you want to keep this table looking really pretty, and it's black acrylic. So just like any black countertop you've ever put anything on, it shows everything.
But it's really beautiful.
It is gorgeous, isn't it?
It is a beautiful table.
And if you love your Singer Featherweight, then you're gonna love having this beautiful table to go with it. So that is our featherweight table, very, very popular table, and for all featherweight lovers out there. So our next table option is a brand new table that we introduced, I would say, in the last couple of years, and this is our first ever modular table. So this is called our Versa table, and it comes and an option to be able to make it a core size of 13.5 by 16, or by adding a limb, if you will, we're adding a limb, or adding an extension to it that allows you to make that a 16 by 27 inch table. So 16 inches front to back, 27 inches left to right, gives you a really nice big work surface. And this is a modular table. So if you're traveling or you have a smaller workspace maybe at home, or when you're going into classes, then you can just use that core. That core is 13.5 by 16 in size. So it's actually bigger than our junior. But if you want to go ahead and add on the extension, then you can do that, and you can you'll get that bigger size, which is that 16 by 27. Works great. It comes with our grid glider. If you purchase the whole system, you'll get it with the grid glider, but you can purchase it as with just the core option as well. So we don't have that option turned on right here on our website, but you know, if you wanted just the 13.5 by 13.5 by 16, then you would have that option as well.
Actually, Stacy, after we talked this morning, I made sure that we do have that option available.
Oh, wonderful. Okay.
Yeah,
so that is $99 is the retail for just that option, or you can purchase it with the extension with the grid glider for $179. So that's a great solution for a modular table. You know who really loves the modular table?
Who?
Other countries.
Oh yeah, I would imagine so.
Shipping our tables, our bigger tables, into other countries is just astronomical in shipping costs. So having the opportunity to have it come in a more dense package really brings down the shipping costs. And so it's a great solution for folks that are international that love our So Steady tables. So a couple more tables to show off here, guys. We recently came out with a table that works with your Bernina stitch regulator. So what does that mean? It means that customers that have always wanted to use their stitch regulator to do ruler work have now the opportunity to buy one of our large or wish tables with a stitch regulator cutout. So you can actually purchase it with any table or insert now. You can just add a stitch regulator option to those tables. So the cost of the option is $80. And what we're doing with that $80 is we're not only giving you a specialty cutout in the table of choice or insert of choice, but we're also giving you kind of a system to secure your stitch regulator, your Bernina stitch regulator, to the underside of your table. So it comes with some screws. It comes with an extension cord for the cord that attaches to the machine, and creates that solution for you to be able to use your stitch regulator through Bernina. Now you have to have that machine with the Bernina stitch regulator to be able to find it useful, but allows you to do that. So that's kind of a neat option. Again, that's really specific for Bernina users. But it's something that we were asked for years for people that wanted to do ruler work and wanted to use their stitch regulator.
So tell me again what tables that could be added for?
Any. You can add a stitch regulator solution to any of our Sew Steady tables or cabinet inserts. Now you might run into some problems if it's smaller, like some of our really small ones, maybe our junior or that Versa core I showed you earlier. You might run into some problems with that just because we have that cutout kind of off to the left slightly from the machine. We can't have it get in the way of the leg, of course. So, but we've been able to modify pretty much any of our tables or inserts to make that work. So.
Well, that's great information.
Yeah, so I know you wanted me to show off another couple tables, and these are kind of our final tables and why you might get them. So let's talk a little bit about the free motion table first. So, when we started doing ruler work, a lot of people saw this awesome opportunity to take some of your domestic machines, turn them sideways, and kind of turn them into a sit-down long arm, right? And so we created what we call our free motion table. It's 24 by 32, but notice the cutout is in a totally different location. Well, that cutout is in the center of the table. And so you're intended to set your machine up on the tip and sew at the front of the tip of the machine. So it's great for doing free motion quilting, not great for really anything else. That's why we call it our free motion table. But that cutout is intended to be centered in that table. So you have plenty of workspace on the left side of the needle, on the right side of the needle, and then it goes all the way back towards the back of the machine. Our goal is that you're still going to be sitting, so your needle is about no more than 7 to 9 inches away from the front of the table. So keep that in mind. We're going to be pulling that machine in that far to be able to make sure you're still sitting, so your needle area is 7 to 9 inches away from the front edge of the table. And the front edge of the table is right here, guys. So it's on the front edge of the table in that scenario. So we basically just turned the location where the cutout was and gave you a free motion table. So that also comes with a polish kit. Again, ideal for doing any kind of free motion or ruler work. And then
I could see where that would be very handy if you're doing free motion quilting.
Absolutely. And then our final table is our quilter's angle table. Now this was developed actually by Leonie West herself. She had created a solution that she thought worked really well for doing ruler work, where you kind of angled that table a little bit to be able to have it closer to your, kind of giving you more work surface, especially if you have smaller machines. So notice that by angling it, you're getting a lot more. Got my finger. Don't put your arrow in there, or it's going to make the picture weird. But notice that by doing that, it really opens up how much space you have right here to be able to use bigger rulers and have bigger fabric projects flowing through the needle. So what she's done is she's created a solution that, again, is for quilting, free motion quilting and ruler work, not ideal for doing other types of sewing projects, by angling that machine and really opening it up so you get more space within the free arm of your machine. So that's
it's a very specialized tool in that regard.
It's very specialized, but it does give a solution that that some people, that's all they want to do on their machine. So why wouldn't you get something that works better with your smaller machine, right? So
Agreed.
that's 18 by 24, and it comes with that special kind of cutout location. So those are all of the different tables we have here at So Steady, and of course our cabinet inserts. You know, one of the things that I told you earlier when we were talking about the cabinet inserts is we talked a little bit about how you order those. And so, you know, what I'm showing you on the screen here is that it does take a little extra. We are going to ask you to go ahead and choose the size of cabinet that you're looking for. And this is how you know your size. So you're going to know your size by measuring your cabinet opening length plus width. And if it's equal to or less than 29 inches, it's a small insert. So if I were to measure my cabinet over here, then I'm going to measure the opening. The length of that opening, it looks like, is about 17 inches. And then the depth of that opening appears to be about 13. So the overall size of that is actually 30 inches. So it's not considered a small insert. It's considered a medium insert because it's 29 to 35 inches. So then I'm going to choose the medium insert so I make sure I pay the correct amount. And then I'm going to type in my machine make and model. I'm going to type in my cabinet opening dimensions, and then I'll type in other information I know about the cabinet, like the cabinet make and model, and if the cabinet has that 1/4 inch ledge that supports it. So that's how
I
you
am
place
going to
those orders.
stop you real quick there because we do it just a little bit differently on the Sofa-Less website.
Oh, okay.
But we do ask for the machine make and model. We do ask if you've got the cabinet manufacturer and the opening dimensions. We do require that. And we do also double check to make sure, because inset and insert can be a little bit confusing, but if it says, does the cabinet have the supporting ledge for the insert? But we do have them priced, as you were mentioning, you know, it says, you know, medium between 29 and 35. Yeah, exactly. Yep. So what Stacy was saying, you just basically, you need to measure your length and width of your opening. And if it falls within, right now I'm looking at the medium, between 29 and 35 inches, that would be a medium. And so you just use that appropriately. And those are the ones that you would need.
Awesome. You know, Mike, I was thinking that it might be fun to do an extra giveaway and maybe have it go through the next, I don't know, few days. And anyone that purchases a So Steady table or insert on your website, we're going to throw in with the table and insert purchase, we're going to throw in some of your halo rings.
Oh, that'd be great.
What do you think about that?
I think that'd be great. So guys, just in case you're unfamiliar, halo rings are a handy little device that you can basically put anywhere, and they're expandable. So they work from anything, just your standard pencil, your standard chalk liner, all the way to those larger Choco liners. And they have a little adhesive piece that allows you to put them anywhere. Donnell uses them on the sides of her cabinet. You see right there, we had them on the back, but they do expand up to almost exactly 1 inch. So you can really put a lot of stuff in there. We've used it from anything, like I mentioned, just regular air erasable markers, glue sticks, all the way up to just scissors, like Stacy was saying earlier. Yeah. They're very, very useful.
So that will be a bonus. So any purchases, maybe we'll say should we say through the, because we're doing this on, let's Friday. Say through the 15th. What do you think? So a full week?
Let's do it.
All right. So halo rings with the purchase of any table through the 15th.
All right. That sounds like a great deal.
Excellent. And then we have that light stick promotion we told you all about. You can purchase any table and get a light stick for $10 with a Quilter's Creative Pen. So we're going to be throwing that bonus item in to really make the most out of your tables that way. And so I want you to take advantage of that. Mike will have that available on the website as well. And I think that's all she wrote. That's my story on tables, Mike. We took you through the whole variety.
Well, I don't think that we could have covered it any better. We certainly covered all of the different accessories. We've got all the different sizes. So I think this was about a thorough explanation that we've ever seen.
Excellent. Well, and wow, did we take a little while too? Can't
We did.
believe that was a full 2 hours.
Just like a regular show. But there is a lot, guys, and this is one of the reasons we wanted to do this for you guys, because we realize that it is one thing just to be looking at it on a screen. And if you've never seen it in person or even used, it's really difficult to make a decision because you really don't have all the information. And so that's why when Stacy agreed to this, I jumped at the opportunity, because who better to show it to you than basically the person that knows it best. So Stacy, I do want to say thank you again. And guys, if you have any questions, I actually ended up, we went so long, I lost part of my help here. So normally I would flash that up across the screen there. If you guys have any questions or comments, Stacy won't be joining us live on camera, but she will be around for questions on Friday. So just make sure any questions or comments you guys have, don't be shy, leave them in the comments. We'll be getting all of those questions answered for you as well. So, but Stacy, thank you again. You did a great
Absolutely.
job, and we'll see you again real soon.
Sounds good. Thanks so much, Mike.
All right, and so you're back with me. What an amazing presentation. When I said deep dive, I meant deep dive. I don't think I've ever seen a more thorough explanation of every table, every inset, and every insert, plus all of the different accessories. Stacy did an absolutely marvelous job. I mean, if there was ever any question of what you do with this accessory and can I use it with this table, I think that we've answered just about every single question. This was a long show, and I am impressed for those of you who have stuck with us the entire time, but it was chock full of information. And I've got a couple of questions here. Joe, could you highlight that one about the Bernina table? Yeah, Julie was asking, can we order the Bernina table with the cutout for the BSR from us? I'm going to tell you, that's a project that I need to do as soon as this show is over. I wasn't even sure that she was going to mention it, to be quite honest with you. And since she did, I'm going to make sure that we add that option to any table on the website. So you'll have to just give me a little bit of time. It may even be Monday morning, but I'm going to make sure I get that done. I do want to back up and remind everybody, since Stacy likes to give everything away. If you haven't, head over to the talkinstitches.com. That's where you're going to register for all of the giveaways. And I want to remind you of all the different promotions that she's running and created live when we were doing the pre-recorded version of the show here. So guys, if you order a So Steady table anytime this quarter, this is of course, what is today, April 8th. So this is the second quarter. Anytime during the second quarter, you can add that light stick in one of those quilters creative pens for just $10. It's a substantial savings. And as you saw with that, as she demonstrated, using it as a light box and also kind of trying out your design beforehand, you can kind of put your material underneath the table and see how it's going to look in that portion of your quilt block. You can add that for just $10, which again is really a huge savings, and it's a very, very functional add-on to the tables. The other thing that she's thrown in for the next, so if you order your table within the next week, I think she said April 15th, right, Joe?
Mm-hmm.
So if you order a table or an insert or an inset before April 15th, she's going to throw in a package of halo rings. So I think there's, what is there, 12 in there, Joe?
Yes.
12 halo rings in there. So that's a $15 value right there. So a lot of great stuff going on right now. Again, I know that she's not live with us right now, but I do want to say thank you so much for Stacy setting aside that time. Again, neither one of us expected it to go that long, but I mean, really just an in-depth explanation of how everything works together. And they've done a great job creating all of these products to make sewing so much easier for you guys. Again, Sarah, thank you so much. I know you were kind of multitasking, but thank you for paying attention and helping us out in the comments. Guys, if there's anything that we didn't cover, is there any other questions, Joe?
I think that's about got it.
All right, guys, if we missed something, hit us up in the comments. Again, we do try to monitor them afterwards. If for whatever reason we don't see it or don't get to it, it usually means we didn't see it. We're not ignoring you. You can always hit us up at info@sewforless.com. Next week, we are going to be back Friday with Trish Keller, and we've got a project for you guys. So we're going to be making a mini zipper cork bag. So we're looking forward to that. So it's kind of our first hands-on show. If you wanted to get some stuff ahead of time, that project category is up on the website. It's under the Talkin Stitches category. But guys, I hope you have a wonderful weekend. We woke up to snow and sleet here in St. Louis, so I hope you're having a little bit better weather than we are. But we will see you guys real soon. Thanks again for sticking around. What a great show. See you guys.